Adam here from Next Level Radio. Ben and I were joined by Jimmi Simpson from the Netflix original series House of Cards. Jimmy talked to us about his role on the show along with some of his past work. And if you're wondering when you can start revealing spoilers about some of the shows that are stream only, which I personally was curious about, he made sure to clear up the air on that. We would like to give him a huge thank you for coming on the program with us and look forward to speaking to him again in the future. Make sure you watch him on the first 2 seasons of House of Cards only on Netflix, and you can also find a lot of his previous work on Netflix as well. For a recap on this interview, make sure you listen to us on the June 8th episode of the Next Level Showcast. For more shows and interviews like this one from Next Level Radio, just go to nextlevelradioonline.com. You can check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/nextlevelradioonline, and follow us on Twitter at NXT Level Radio. Also, make sure you subscribe to us on iTunes and YouTube. This way you're the first to find out when we post the interviews and other shows and stuff like that. We'd like to thank you for checking us out and hope you enjoy our interview with Jimmi Simpson. You are listening to Next Level Radio. I am Adam Gorey, joined as usual by Ben Beck, and we're here to bring you another live guest spotlight. Joining us tonight on the Next Level Radio hotline is someone who's actually somewhat local to us here at Next Level Radio. You've seen him in movies such as Date Night, White House Down, and I know one of Ben's personal favorites, Nights of Badass Dumb. You've also seen him. You've also seen him in shows like Breakout Kings. It's always sunny in Philadelphia. You think I get that right? And Psych. And now you can stream him anytime, anywhere on Netflix with House of Cards. We'd like to welcome to the program Jimmi Simpson. Jimmy, thanks for joining us. How you doing?
I'm good, guys. Thanks for having me, Adam and Ben. It's nice to be here. Appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, like we said, you're pretty local. You're from Hackettstown, New Jersey, which is about an hour away from Allentown, where I live, and just about 2 hours from Philly, where Ben lives.
That's great, man. I'm very much tri-state to my core. I was born and raised in Jersey, then I went to school in Pennsylvania, and I'd take trips out to Allentown in high school with my buddies. So yeah, we're all big family.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I know you attended Bloomsburg, which is not far from Allentown. I know Ben actually went to school in the area as well. He went to Moravian in Bethlehem.
Yeah.
And I went to DeSales in Allentown.
Well, sometimes I would drive through Allentown, Bethlehem on my way to school because I had a buddy who lived out there. So, yeah, it's a great town.
Yeah, I mean, and the Lehigh Valley is a pretty cool place. Now, do you still, live generally in the tri-state area, or have you moved West Coast?
Yeah, I've been on the West Coast since about 2002. I've been in California, and I never really thought I'd come this way because, we hold fast to our tri-state identities. But I just added it. I added it to my identity. It's also a great place out here, too. So,
yeah, well, and House of Cards, that's production takes place in Maryland, right? So, I mean, you come East Coast every once in a while for that.
Sure, yeah. I mean, well, my mom's still in Jersey, and my brother, and House of Cards does shoot in Baltimore, and my brother just moved there with his wife and my nephew, so it's actually going to be kind of amazing this next year. I'll be able to see my family more than ever.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. And then, as I'd mentioned, you appeared in a bunch of episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Sure. When filming, was that mostly L.A., though? Because I know they don't film out here in Philly too much.
No, they do a little every year. They get some exteriors, and they're a part of the town, and they like to shoot some stuff there. But most of the scenes get shot in California. Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually done a couple.
I think I went.
Oh, go ahead.
No. I was saying I went up there for, I think, the first season, my first episode as McPoyle. I had to show up on the doorstep and creep people out, and I was actually in Philadelphia.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I know that's probably the only thing I have in common with you is I've actually done a couple as an extra. I've done a couple episodes of Always Sunny when they film.
Amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
When they film the exteriors out here. So.
Oh, that's great. I mean, it's such a great crew of people. Everybody's just so kind on that show. So I hope you had a nice experience.
Oh, I had a great time, and everybody I talked to, I got to talk to Danny and everybody, and Danny will talk your ear off, and I loved it. I loved every second of it.
You're like, hey, can I say something? Yeah, I'm going to talk to you for 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly. But I loved it. He was a great guy, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Any plans to be in this upcoming season? If you're allowed to say.
I don't think we're going to be in this upcoming season.
Okay.
Yeah, but you never know.
Just to prep for this interview, I actually went back and watched a couple. I know I watched where you guys took them hostage, which was probably one of the funniest and most disturbing episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia I've ever seen.
The wrongness of that episode can't be denied. It's just awful.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Now, I know, before we get into talking about House of Cards, I know we were actually originally supposed to talk to you back in March, but unfortunately, it seems like you had a little bit of an altercation, or a little bit of a motorcycle accident back in March.
I did.
So,
I did. Well, I had the second kind of, the altercation happened in December, and some failed hardware in my shoulder had to go under the knife again. So that's what that was. Yeah.
So
it's a long process.
Yeah. Well,
still ride?
I hope they've replaced those bionics appropriately this time around.
They have. I'm suited up good. I'm like a mech warrior.
Do you still ride?
Say again?
Do you still ride a motorcycle then?
Well, I wanted to not really make that decision until I was completely whole again, and then I could make it with like a full, rational, healed mind instead of like some kind of fear-based choice to never ride again. But at this point, right now, I got to say I'm currently definitely not riding. The least of all, just so Mom can sleep at night. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I had a bike. I have my motorcycle license. I had a bike for maybe a year, and the streets are just too crowded. It's hard to trust people when I'm on a bike, so I got rid of it.
Yeah, you're the last variable in the whole motorcycle thing.
Yeah,
the rider
definitely.
himself is There's so much stuff you gotta be prepared for that you sometimes aren't able to prepare yourself for it, and that's when that stuff happens.
Yeah, exactly. And for getting on to House of Cards real quick. As we said, seasons 1 and 2 are both on Netflix, and you can binge watch them at your own pleasure. For a show like that, how long, in your opinion, is the right time to wait before revealing spoilers? Because it's kind of like a gray area.
How long before reviewers should give spoilers, you think?
Just like when you're talking, in general, like if say we were doing our weekly show, and I wanted to talk about the show, but I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. How long do you think you need to wait? A couple months, maybe like 6 months?
I think 2 months is fair to everyone. 2
Okay.
months is fair. I mean, because you can't expect everyone to binge watch, even though it's kind of written so well. You just really want to know what's happening. It's not even like a cliffhanger situation. It's just you want to know how the story progresses, and so you can binge watch. Some of us have lives and work and families, and so you've got to spread it out over some time. So I think 2 months is fair.
No, definitely. Okay, cool. Because I guess season 2's been out since February, so I can spoil all I want. Then is what you're talking about. And if anyone yells at me, I'll blame you. Is that okay?
Okay, I'll take the heat because I can handle it, my friend.
Now, do you like that aspect of it? That people can binge watch it, or do you sometimes wish you could, watch it live weekly, and especially with social media, like live tweet to the fans and stuff like that during episodes?
Yeah, there's a bonding element to network television, certainly, and we're all doing it together generally. But I feel like we're just kind of seeing that happening less and less, and everybody is just watching things on their own time. Sure, there's a large number of people that watch it as it airs, but I don't think that's going to be the case forever. And so, I personally like being a user that can choose how I get my stories, and if I want to watch them all in a couple nights, then I can do it. And then you can parse it out if you want to. I think giving yourself the option is nothing but a good thing.
Yeah, and I think we're definitely, as popular as it is, we're going to see more and more of the kind of streaming only. Now, your character, Gavin, is a hacker on the show, and I haven't seen White House Down, but I heard you were a hacker in that too. Is there some type of background in hacking that you have that qualifies you for these roles?
It's very minimal, to say the least. But I have dear friends who can hack with the best, and so luckily I've had them kind of at my disposal to inform me on all the stuff that my shortcomings when it comes to playing those kinds of roles. So it's no, I'm not. But I sat next to one in class,
Okay, there you go. Well, season 3, has production started on that? Do you know anything about it yet? Script or anything?
The scripts are just coming out, so it's just landing. Nobody really knows anything quite yet.
Okay. Well, they kind of left it open-ended for your character at the end of season 2. When he had made contact with Stamper, and then what happened to Stamper. I won't say too much spoiler-wise, but they kind of left it a little open-ended. So are you hoping for more of a expanded role? Because I could definitely see them doing that with your character.
Yeah, definitely. I think kind of Gavin's transition in season 2 was really interesting to me. It was laying the foundation that I see a lot of potential for. I think Gavin's existence since his first computer has kind of been about securing a safe place for himself in like a binary existence, and it kind of seems cold and isolating to some, but it's where he shines, so it's like warm to him and it's comfortable, and being forced to engage with humans on a social and emotional plane wasn't just new for him, but it was also frightening. So I think in most of season 2 he tried to navigate his distance as he's led his virtual one, you know what I mean? Like as a programmer, as opposed to a user. But it didn't really work out. It was fruitless, and it kind of ultimately just revealed his shortcomings more than it was anything constructive. And I think his last meeting with Doug Stamper kind of confirmed that, unlike the world Gavin's used to, in the real world, the power of one's like often pretty dependent on the help of others. And so having him kind of get that realization and being kind of stripped of all his defenses, like that Skeksis in the Dark Crystal, but way less dramatic. I feel like he's getting to a place where he's being forced to recognize his frailty and that he's a human. He's only a human, and so that's really interesting to me. Yeah,
no, and the role's great too, for sure.
Well, thanks, man.
Now, I know we had mentioned earlier, some of the other work that you had done, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Psych, and as Adam had mentioned, one of my personal favorite movies, which was Knights of Badassdom. I'm a fan of those movies that kind of get the cult following, like Shaun of the Dead, Tucker and Dale versus Evil, and Knights of Badassdom, I think, absolutely falls into that category. And not
I agree. It definitely. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and it definitely has the cast to back it.
It has the cast and the specificity of content to get a total cult following.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, those actors in that movie was the entire reason why I was just kind of so excited to go and work on it. Steve Zahn and Peter Dinklage, everybody's amazing, but those two guys I've been watching since I started, and Steve Zahn, his performance in Faith Men was kind of huge for me, and just everything Peter's done is lovely and brilliant. So that cast is stellar.
And it's just it's one of those movies that I can only imagine just being on set how much fun that would be to have worked on that movie.
Yeah, just sitting there in awe that Steve and Peter are talking to you.
Now, I mean, when it comes to roles like that, when it comes to like the comedic roles, like Knights of Badassdom and Always Sunny and things like that, or the more serious dramatic roles, almost like House of Cards, what role do you tend to like better, the comedic or the dramatic?
It's kind of more character dependent. It's the roles don't come super easily for me or for most character actors. So it's sometimes you're doing a lot of stuff that maybe you don't really connect with. Like my poor dad is just like, every time I get a new role, it's like, are you playing another asshole? And my mom doesn't understand why everybody sees me that way. But it's sometimes you get to connect with a character, and that's when it's really rewarding. Whether he's funny or goofy or an asshole or whatever, it's when you see the human being. And sometimes I play roles that I really can understand when it's dramatic, and sometimes it's comedic. But it's less dependent on the genre and more dependent on the writing and the character.
Yeah, I mean, in Breakout Kings, it was kind of both. I wasn't able to see it, when it was on TV, but because it's on Netflix, I was able to actually watch a few episodes of it. And your character, it's dramatic, but your character's humor in it is, it kind of brings the show around and has that humor with some drama and action, but it really keeps it light and funny. And I'm definitely gonna be watching more of it. That's a pretty cool show. I'm surprised it only lasted I think it was like 2 seasons.
It was 2 seasons. It was a really fun character and really fun show. And I think the qualities you're talking about, Nick Santora, he's a friend of mine. He's a really great writer. I think he was responsible for most of that kind of Lloyd, that was the character's name, the kind of that spaz quality that's also funny and also just desperately weak. So that was a lot thanks to Nick Santora. He's great.
Yeah, and speaking of that you had mentioned the spaz type quality before we start wrapping up. I went back, like I said, I watched a couple of the It's Always Sunny ones, and I think the funniest one was I think it was the D pregnant episode where they had come over to the house, about finding out what happened that night, and you just yell at the top of your lungs, "You will call her!" That freaking floors me every time I see it.
People love that delivery. It's wonderful. I don't see any other way it could have been played. It's like the only option.
I'm really seriously thinking about making it my text message ringtone, so every time I get a text, that goes off.
That's good shit, man.
Well, I know we're getting ready to, wrap things up. But before we wrap things up, what we like to do is we like to end our interviews with what we call our rapid fire. Basically, what it is, Adam's just going to ask you a couple questions. They're really short answers, or really short questions. Just answer with the first thing that pops to your head. You don't have to go into too much detail.
Yeah, they're pretty easy.
Okay.
So this one's kind of an homage to House of Cards. If Cashew wasn't a guinea pig, what animal would you want him to be?
Kitten, absolutely.
Ooh, okay.
A newborn kitten.
That would be cool. Although, the fluffiness might not quite be there.
I'm talking newborn. I'm talking super hairless and weird, but needs to be protected.
Like a little Mr.
Maybe protect. Okay, sure, we can go there.
Second one? What's your favorite hobby?
Well, it was always skateboarding before the clavicle went down. Currently it's reading.
Okay.
But I'm adjusting from a very active person to a guy who has to kind of stay put until his bones mend, and it's opened up novels again in a way that I thought I didn't have time for, but I just wasn't making time.
Oh, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Last one. If everyone had a theme song, what would you want yours to be?
It would probably be Range Life by Pavement. It's just about keeping it simple, that's all.
I'm not sure I know that one, but I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, check it out. It's good.
Range Life by Pavement?
You got it.
Yeah, I know the band Pavement, but I'm not sure I'm familiar with that song.
Yeah, I'll open up your eyes to all the beauty that white boy contains.
Hey, maybe we'll play it on the show on Sunday, Ben.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Do it.
Sounds good. Works for me.
Cool.
Well, we definitely want to send people towards Netflix to check out seasons 1 and 2 of House of Cards. They're up there now. They can binge watch them before season 3 comes out.
And Breakout Kings while you're there.
And check out Breakout Kings. I think Always Sunny is on Netflix.
Yeah.
Too.
No, yeah, that is too.
So
it's a veritable poo-poo platter of goodness.
Yeah, exactly. Check out your whole body of work right there on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Binge watch it all.
Do it.
They can follow you on Twitter at Jimmi Simpson, and I think that's your Instagram as well as Jimmi Simpson.
That's the truth.
So, we definitely want to encourage everybody to follow you on Twitter and Instagram. Check out Netflix for all your body of work. But Jimmy, thanks a lot for joining us. Yeah, thanks a lot for joining us.
Thanks for chatting with me. It was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, I've been a fan, especially even before Knights of Badassdom. I was a fan. So.
No, that's awesome, man. That really cinched the deal. That got it in.
That got it. I think that was the main reason why when we found out, we booked you for an interview. I was really excited because Knights of Badassdom was the first thing that came to my head.
I love that, man. That's so cool to hear. Well, have a great evening, and I hope to talk to you guys soon.
Yeah, we look forward to it. So,
all right.
Everybody who's listening right now, be sure to check us out, www.nextlevelradioonline.com. Follow us on Twitter at NXT Level Radio, and stay tuned for our next interview with Notori Naughton coming up in just minutes. So, guys, hang tight. We'll be back in a little bit.
Later.